good education, better future, and a good career. And amongst all, they stand tall. The Assam Downtown University, 5 kilometers away from the city, located by the bank of mighty Brahmaputra, spreading across a beautiful landscapes of 50 acres. Assam Downtown University started their glorious journey in the year 2010. They started with a dream of providing better placement to their students than the rest. To fulfill any dream, one has to have solid foundation. And thus, Assam Downtown University's dream soon steps toward becoming the reality, with an infrastructure of nearly 15 lakh square feet of carpet area, 171 classrooms, 7 departments, 108 labs, and other modern and essential facilities like library, placement cell, amphitheater, conference halls, sports complex, swimming pool, gymnasium, playground, basketball court, hostels for girls and boys, ATM, cinema hall, and cafeteria. They currently operate with 7 departments, namely Faculty of Commerce and Management, Faculty of Humanities and Social Science, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Faculty of Paramedical Sciences, Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Faculty of Nursing and Faculty of Hospitality and Tourism Management. Presently, more than 8,000 students are studying under these 7 departments, and with the guidance of more than 250 faculties in Assam Downtown University, education doesn't limit itself within the classrooms, and they believe more in practical and methodical teaching. Assam Downtown University operates under the UGC guidelines and has all the necessary approvals and accreditation of all other relevant authorities. Without fun, learning becomes stereotyped and doesn't achieve its purpose. A happy and active campus life is one of the most essentials for a healthy educational system. Assam Downtown University pays equal importance to their students' physical wellness. And that is why they could provide placements to more than 6,000 students till now, and called Northeast India's best placement-driven university. And yet many more miles to go. Come and join us, to walk alongside us, to witness an amazing success story. This journey has just started with a promise to spread more and more knowledge, to turn the mirrors into windows.
Good morning, everybody. We are about to start the program, and we'll start the program with a Guru Vandana.
Kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhana sampadah. Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhana sampadah. Shatru buddhi vinashaya Deepajyotirnamostute, Deepajyotirnamostute. Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhana sampadah. Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhana sampadah.
Good morning, one and all. Myself, Dr. Abhijit Kalita, Assistant Professor from Program of Physiotherapy, welcome you all to this online faculty development program 2021, organized by the Faculty of Paramedical Sciences, Assam Downtown University, on the theme Evolution of SARS-CoV-2 infection, its diagnosis and management, perspective from healthcare professionals, which will continue from today till 6th of August 2021. Assam Downtown University is one of the leading universities of Northeast India. The university has a lush green campus spreading over 50 acres of land, is located at the banks of mighty Brahmaputra, Panikhaiti. It offers diploma, graduate, and postgraduate studies. It has a fine balance of dynamic young faculty members and experienced senior professors in all the programs. It has emerged as the leading center for teaching and research, offering PhD in different disciplines. Assam Downtown University had traversed a long way by expanding and consolidating academic programs to enjoy the present status of being the most opt-in institution of learning. It will continue to maintain the rich tradition and cultural heritage of the region by fulfilling its social mission of creating quality human resource to serve the nation with education. Considering the COVID situation, we all know India has just dealt with its second wave last April to June 2021. Also, the vaccination drive is going on, and therefore the population is still vulnerable to get the infection. So this online faculty development program aims to bring awareness about the deadly virus and also to introduce the coping strategies of one can attain in these tough situations, thereby helping in prevention of a future third wave of this pandemic. Now, I would like to request Dr. Pratap Chandra Sharma Sir, Chairperson, Faculty of Paramedical Sciences and Faculty of Sciences, to give the welcome address. Sir, please.
A very good morning to you all. Honorable Chancellor, Vice Chancellor of Assam Downtown University, respected Director of Medical Evolution, Dr. Anup Burman Sir, respected Dean of Studies, Assam, Advisor Research, Chairman Research, Deans, HODs, faculties, my dear students, and respected ladies and gentlemen present in the FDP. I, Dr. Pratap Sharma, Chairperson of Paramedical Science and Sciences of Assam Downtown University, take the privilege to heartily welcome you all to this FDP arranged by Faculty of Paramedical Science of Assam Downtown University on the theme Evaluation of SARS-CoV-2 infections, its diagnosis and management, perspective from healthcare professionals. The presence of this virus was incidentally discovered in 31st December 2009 in one city of China, when some person was suffering from pneumonia of unknown cause, and later on the causative organism was termed as 2019 nCoV, and it was officially named as severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus, or SARS-2, by the International Committee of Taxonomy of Viruses in January 1922. Since the emergence of COVID-19 in China, the virus has rapidly spread to other countries worldwide as a global threat. SARS-CoV-2 virus changes its characteristics slowly. So far, about 100 of variations have been identified worldwide. Now, who is constantly monitoring the mutations and changes to the virus so that its spread can be prevented in future? Respiratory system is the target organ of COVID-19, but it can also affect GI tract, hepatobiliary system, renal system, CVS, and central nervous system. And it has been seen that in the second wave, the complications of other systems rather than respiratory system is more. Diagnosis of COVID can easily made by rapid testing or by RT-PCR test. Now, COVID treatment started with the use of chloroquine, hydroxychloroquine, azithromycin, convalescent plasma, remdesivir, dexamethasone, but the efficacy of the drug against the virus is yet to be fully established. Massive vaccination against COVID-19 has already been started all over the world. We are to achieve a lot for the control of the virus completely. In this hour of need, Paramedical Sciences of Assam Downtown University has organized this FDP so that the faculties and other participants can acquire more better knowledge about the disease. Many learned resource persons are invited from India as well as from abroad to this FDP, who will enlighten about the different aspects of the virus and the disease. I am confident that all the participants will be highly benefited from this FDP. I would like to conclude my address by welcoming you all again and wishing a great success of the FDP. Thank you.
My channel, sir. Thank you, sir, for your words. Now I request Professor N.C. Talukdar, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, AdtU, and Chief Patron for our FDP 2021 to address the gathering.
Namaskar and good morning to you all. Respected Dr. Anup Kumar Burman, the chief guest of this faculty development program. I also see in the screen Dr. B.G. Unni, Dr. Hameshwar Goswami. Welcome you all. Dr. Pratap Chandra Sharma, Chairman of Faculty of Paramedical Sciences, and other colleagues from Paramedical Sciences faculty. I see about 160 participants, which is very, very encouraging. And then also I have been given to know that there are about 10 distinguished speakers. Some of them are from abroad. So I must congratulate the Faculty of Paramedical Science for having organized and for having successful in getting a very eminent research eminent personality to deliver lectures to the participants during next few days. I think it's a 4 days program. I find this topic is extremely relevant. I am not from this profession, but being a student of science and also going through last 1.5 years, like every day you get to know so many new things about this deadly virus. What is happening in the world in terms of research, R&D, diagnostic tool development. Like every day there have been news even in the general newspaper, which are not which doesn't carry much scientific news, science news item. And when I said it's extremely relevant is because you know how many variants already in the environment, the Delta variant, Alpha variant, and we also know their like Delta variant, they say is spread infection much faster. Now these variants means these are strains of this virus, and it's also at the same time, I feel that these particular any kind of challenge that society face, diseases, human history has been replete with the pandemic. It has there are so many, and human being has evolved, and the society has evolved to this stage today through our intellect and our ability to fight those tiny organisms, microorganisms that cause havoc in the society. And this evolution of this particular virus, we do not know how long it will go, how many strain will in store to appear. Like, common flu, when we were students, we learned there are about 62 strains of common flu, and for which we also know this vaccination or developing immunity against was difficult, because every time you have a vaccine, then you get the next strain coming out as a result of mutation. And then, of course, human being, as I said, the trump of science and development in the fields of science and technology. Now there are vaccine against common flu, and USA, it's like every summer and winter for the strain they expect, they have technique of vaccinating people, because they don't want to lose their work hours in office. So, but for countries like India, we're not much bothered. Flu, we take it as a resistant, giving a body immunity strengthening system. We are not much bothered. Like, from that perspective, I think this a faculty development program, making the teachers and the research scholars of the faculty of our university, and also those who have been participating here, to let them know about the recent development, like what are the new strains coming, diagnosis. Like, see, even within the first 6 months of this COVID, when it came from December 2019, January 20, June 2020, there are so many new cheap diagnostic tools developed in 6 months' time. So the scientist or intellect has actually been helping us to cope. No doubt we have lost a lot of life whenever there's a new disease. Like, we are fighting, we have lost some life, but we have also very steadfast way have developed measures. We have to, like in the history of mankind, a fastest development of vaccine has happened against this COVID-19. So I believe that this kind of workshop will impart the participant of this particular program. Visit Kolita said about the purpose of this, building awareness and coping strategy. That's fine. Building awareness is awareness to everyone needs awareness, but the medical fraternity and paramedical fraternity, nursing faculty, they need, of course, special technical awareness, but common people also need to be aware. But besides this awareness, this kind of faculty development program has another very important dimension. Like, you listen to eminent more and more about this organism, you will find that new idea about new research will come. Like, I just want to give you one simple example. Today we use RT-PCR as a gold standard for getting confirmation about positivity or negativity from the samples of an infected person or suspected person. Like, I am sure many of you heard about Dr. Kerry Mullis, who developed this PCR polymerase chain reaction, that technique. Now, see, he was involved initially in polymerase chain reaction as a biochemist. Like, what he used to do to denature protein, which is the first step in the polymerase chain reaction, at 93, 94 degrees centigrade. The next step, he has to bring the temperature down to 63, 64 degree for annealing, and the next he has to again change the temperature. So there will be different water bath where he'll be changing his reaction tubes. And it's very tedious. He is basically a biochemist, but also has some electronic knowledge. So like he was very tired of, when he was working as a research associate, and he was very tired of doing this transfer of tubes, reaction tubes to different temperature water. But so deeply thinking, can the whole thing be mechanized? Can there be a system where you don't have to change these reaction tubes? And see, today the PCR machines, it does everything like in the same chamber. You can ramp temperature, means you can raise the temperature, you can bring down the temperature, hold the temperature at definite for a definite period of time to achieve all the three main steps of PCR reaction, right? So what I'm trying to actually say, that those who are practically involved with this deadly virus everyday experience, you will get clue to do even new research. When speakers speak, you'll find, I am sure, they will also highlight a lot of the research achievements that has happened last 1.5 year time. So I hope that this faculty development program for next 4 days will be extremely effective. The participants will gain a lot, and wish you all the best for a grand success of this event. With these words, I once more welcome our chief guest and also all the eminent speakers, and wish one and all for a very effective participation in this. Faculty, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your informative words. We have a message from our Honorable Chancellor, sir, Dr. N.N. Datta, sir, and our respected Dean of Studies, Professor Bandana Datta, ma'am, who were supposed to join us today, but could not due to unavoidable circumstances. But they have conveyed their good wishes to all the delegates for the success of the whole event. Now, we are very honored that we have amongst us Dr. Anup Burman, sir, Director of Medical Education, as a chief guest of the event. I welcome you, sir, and I would request you to kindly address the gathering.
First of all, good morning to one and all. Honorable Chancellor of Assam Downtown University, Professor N.N. Datta, sir, my river teacher, and the Vice Chancellor of Assam Downtown University, Professor Yanchi Talukdar, Chairperson of the Faculty of Paramedical Science, Assam Downtown University, Professor Pratash Chandra Sharma, and an academic director, Professor Gitumani Kaur, and all the faculty of paramedical sciences, Assam Downtown University, all the esteemed delegates, and my friends. At the very outset, I must thank the organizer for having me invited today here as a part of this very important meeting. And let me first congratulate Assam Downtown University for holding such a important faculty development program online in this midst of pandemic situation. I think it's a need of the hour, because as you know, the whole world, the entire world is combating this deadly virus crisis. You know, across the world, more than 20 crores people have been affected, and then death also around 42 lakhs or more, maybe more than that. Even in India also, we are witnessing more than 3 crores people affected, and around 4 lakhs to 24,000 have been died. In Assam also, we are witnessing 5.6 lakhs people have been all affected as on today, and also death around 5,260 is going up. So really it's a very deadly disease. Now the whole entire world is fighting against an enemy that is an unseen and unknown enemy actually. We do not know much about the COVID because so far we are not getting an appropriate or definitive therapeutic interventions for the COVID per se. We are using a lot of drugs, lot of interventions, but they are mostly on experimental so far. But the only thing is the vaccination. So we must give more stress on the vaccination because it has some proof that to be effective. So we must give more and more stress on this vaccination program so that we can immunize our most of the adult population, not only all population beneficiary. I'm sure today in this today means for next 1 week probably 2 to 6th that this university is organizing this online workshop for medical faculty as well as the paramedical fraternity so that they can learn more on mostly on this COVID-19 disease, because the theme says that evaluation of SARS-CoV-2 infections, its diagnosis, management, and perspective from the healthcare professional. Many distinguished speakers are here. I could see many resourceful persons are here as faculty for this workshop. I'm sure they will do all justice to their talk, and then all the faculties or the students and the delegates will be immensely benefited from their deliberation. So once again, I wish my best wishes from my end for a grand success of this online faculty development program. Thank you very much for your presence hearing. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind words. Now I would like to request Professor Gitumani Kaur ma'am, Academic Director, Faculty of Paramedical Sciences, and also the chairperson for this FDP 2021, to give away the vote of thanks. Ma'am, please.
Good morning, everyone. Respected Dr. Anup Kumar Burman, sir, Director, Medical Education, Honorable Chancellor, sir, Dr. N. Datta, respected Vice Chancellor, sir, Dr. N.C. Talukja, and Professor B.G. Undishar, and we have our respected chairperson, Paramedical Sciences, Dr. Pratap Sharma, sir, and we have our own organizing secretary of this faculty development program, Dr. Abhijit Datta, Associate Dean of Faculty of Paramedical Sciences. So it is my immense pleasure to be here, addressing the gathering. Today in the platform, we have total 387 participants who have joined with us. We have 387 registered participants all over India. And among them, at present, we have 181 in the Zoom platform, and rest of the participants were live on the YouTube. So as we could not accommodate everybody in this platform. So I, on behalf of Assam Downtown University, welcome all the participants and all the delegates and all the respected faculty members, whoever have joined us to today's program to learn about the evolution of SARS-CoV-2. As we know, the SARS-CoV-2 who have knocked our door at the mid of 31st December 2019. We were preparing, celebrating for the new year and the virus, the ghost, has come in and knocking at our door, telling you all are not able to celebrate this year as like before. So continuing on that, now till today, we are not able to celebrate the days as before. But slowly we have adopted the situation. Now with the marks, social distancing, we are coming back to the previous situation as much as possible. So in this situation, being the medical professionals, we have taken up the responsibility of taking care of the general population. We are the personals who are being the torch bearers, showing the path to the others, what we should be doing and how should we behave, how should we go about, what should be our motive, how we should deal with how we should have resilience towards this COVID-19 disease, which is caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus. If we look at the history, as the previous diseases like swine flu, SARS-CoV-2, so like other diseases, this disease also is going to come to an end very soon. It is very fortunate that because of technology, so we are having the sophisticated technology, the cutting edge technology, which has helped us, as Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir very well pointed, how previously the PCR test was and how it is now, how much we are coming to the edge of the situation, or everything, how it has become easier by the technology. As we have witnessed the vaccination, that India has two very prominent vaccines which has been evolved within these 2 years, which is a very, very prominent earmark. And also we are very glad that our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given it free of cost for all the citizens of India. So it's a very, very positive sign. So with the maintaining of social distancing, wearing masks, doing sanitization, we have to move forward. And we have among us today speak on the various aspects of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, its infection, its diagnosis, management, and all the perspectives from the healthcare professionals. So we have invited 10 eminent speakers from all over the globe. So among them, we have one Indian administrative officer also. Hope that all the participants will gain very fruitful knowledge from this 5 days program, from the 10 speakers. We have chosen them thinking that they are the best in that particular aspect. So I believe and I am sure that all the delegates, all the staff, all the eminent personals, whosoever has registered with us, who became the part with us, are going to gain knowledge, and this knowledge is going to help the society at large. And I'm very much thankful to all the faculty members of paramedical sciences whose teamwork, whose effort made this program coming to the possible. And we have started this program today with the lighting of the lamp. I know that this 5 days will go very smoothly with all the hard work and dedication of the faculty members. I offer my heartiest thanks to one and all the faculty members of Paramedical Sciences of Assam Downtown University, and all the distinguished deans of the university and other staff, technical staff, and whosoever a part and parcel of this program. I might miss someone, please forgive. Each and everybody, whoever is responsible for making this program to the beginning. So I wish them, I welcome each and everyone, and thanks each and everyone. Thank you all. Over to you, Officer Kolita.
Thank you, ma'am. With this, we come to an end to our inaugural meeting today. Thank you all for your presence. Thank you. Now we have amongst us Dr. Azim Shah MS, who is the keynote speaker for the upcoming session. Dr. Azim Shah, an enthusiastic physiotherapy research specialist from Qatar. He is a well-known clinical expert, professional leader, academician, and researcher on fascia science, neurorehabilitation, and critical care. He is also working as a consultant of the program of physiotherapy at Qatar University and advisory panel member of the World Fascia Congress. Following his postgraduate degree in neurophysiotherapy and master's in healthcare, he has obtained consecutive doctoral degrees in facial science and osteopathy from UK and Spain, respectively. He has 15 years of experience in academic and clinical fields across the globe. He has more than 30 high-indexed journal publications and almost doubles the number of conference proceedings under his name. He is a key person in the Department of Physiotherapy, working at the corporate level as a strategic planning committee member, head of a research committee, quality improvement programmer, recruitment committee member, etc., and lead the transformation of stroke rehabilitation of Qatar, chronic pelvic pain management, and standardization of management of spine rehabilitation. He is also the lead of COVID-19 acute care physiotherapy best practice task force in Qatar, which has been published recently with a high number of downloads across the globe. Dr. Azim Shah has received various international awards for his contributions to fascia-oriented research and neuro rehabilitation. Dr. Azim Shah is having close collaborations with international researchers and scholars and is actively involved in many research projects around the world. He is the opening keynote speaker in the upcoming World Fascia Congress on August 12th also. We wish Dr. Azim Shah all the very best in his future endeavors. With this, I welcome you, sir, to this event, and I request you to deliver your speech. Thank you, sir.
Hello. I think I am audible to all. Okay, so a very warm welcome and good morning to all of you. Actually, here it is 8, going to be 9, so there might be 11:30 something. Thank you for the call for a small talk on perspectives of an allied health professional. We used to call paramedical science as allied health professional here in Qatar. And Dr. Abhijit, thanks for the call. Actually, we were in the midst of transformation phase before the World Cup, which is going to be next year, 2022. So we are having a lot of projects to complete amongst, along with the COVID projects, what we do. But, you know, like it was a good call because we thought that we will just show some of the glimpses what we have done in Qatar as part of the presentation. So it is not a fully arranged presentation because of the time constraint, but I think there'll be some learning points for you as a member. Okay, just wait. I think my battery is running low. Let me find out an option for that one. Sorry for the delay. Actually, I thought the battery is there, but it was not. On second Sorry for the technical issue. Actually, there was a drain in the battery. I was continually using the computer and I forget actually that it is connected. Sorry for that one. So for that, to save the time, I'll be sharing the screen from the point of view. Let me see something is happening. Okay. So in Qatar, it's a small country. Let me share the screen for you. Something happened to my, okay. So I think I need permission to share my screen. It's shown that host has disabled the screen. So can I have access for that? Host disabled participants screen sharing. So let me try again. Yeah, I got it. Sorry for the technical glitches, which presenter mode. I have to go for my presenter mode. I'll try that one.
I guess our speaker sir is having some technical issue. So we'll just wait till he come back online and deliver his speech.
Sorry, it's sorry for the mistake. Continuous use of computer sometimes make things very vulnerable, and it happened. I'll be resuming in a second. Everything is ready for me. Yes. Sorry for the technical issue. What I have even some time delay for that. Okay, let me share the screen. Yeah, please enable my screen sharing option, please. Yeah, thank you.
Sir, can you try now, sir? Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so at last, thank you for the call, and it's been a pleasure to be with you. Even the time was shorter. So, being a healthcare professional, maybe we are having limitations to talk about diagnosis management and all, but I can take you to a journey how different healthcare professionals can be of value being there. Okay, so before that, you know that our life is not going straight now. It's moving in a circle, moving in the repeating and repeating and repeating because of the COVID for last 1.5 years. And I'm pleased to have the opportunity today to speak with you about the COVID-19, the healthcare professionals' role in responding to the public health emergency, and the continuing challenge the medical profession faces as it continues to evolve. I'd like to begin by thanking the Honorable Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Gitumoni, Dr. Abhijit. I think there are two Abhijits, Ms. Srila, Dr. Kankana, and other entire faculty of Assam Downtown University. Many of them I don't know, but thank you both for being here. And around 180 participants who's been here. And I would like to thank all of the physicians, nurses, and healthcare professionals on this call today for your hard work, thoughtfulness, and commitment during this challenging time. Among the heroes who have emerged from this crisis are the healthcare professionals who have risked their own health to serve their patients. The nation is indebted to you. We know, and we have been through many sleepless nights, fearful eyes, fatigued body, and outflow of emotions and frustration. We have seen our dear ones and colleagues succumb to the dangerous virus, yet not allowed to take leave, go home, or take a deep breath at least. We are suffering all this with a belief that it will end tomorrow or day after, but realizing that tomorrow is too late. Staff shortage, burnout, sick leaves, frustration, body pain, family issues. Life is going in a different way for all the healthcare professionals, and the world is now realizing the value and the depth of healthcare system and professionals that they need. As we move forward, we know that the pandemic continues to evolve and the healthcare community must continue to deliver high quality care to all patients. Fortunately, we have made significant progress in our understanding of the disease, our ability to combat it, and our efforts to help patients suffering from it. But it is not only the patients who are suffering, we are also suffering in terms of the disease, in terms of the stress, and in terms of the time management. As a healthcare professional and scientist, we all are scientists basically. We understand that there is no easy answers. We still have much more to learn about the disease with many unanswered questions. And we need not only treat patients with the disease, but also to prevent the spread of the disease as well as rehabilitate the entire society directly and indirectly. I mean, rehabilitate the entire society So the impact is not only the direct because of the virus, the economical burden, the social stigmas, the financial issues, and the emotional issues it is causing to the society is much in a higher perspective domain or level than what the real disease is causing. Today, I would like to speak about our role as a health professional who are dealing with very practical questions involving patients. As from my experience, I understand and empathize with from my own practice as a research physiotherapist. I maybe see things a bit differently, but at the end of the day, we all are healthcare professionals. We can emerge from this emergency only by working together, and we need to do that. We know that the overwhelming quantities of COVID-19 information and data that seem continually to be expanding can place a significant burden on you as clinicians seeking to respond to patients' questions and, when appropriate, modify treatment recommendations. Consider that as recently, just months ago, few people other than a limited group of healthcare professionals and infectious disease experts had been heard about the novel coronavirus. Now each and everybody knows what is coronavirus, what is this data, what is PCR test. So all the world is now knowing about the COVID virus. So life has changed in many versions, in many dimensions from A to Z. The coronavirus pandemic has shed light on a major imbalances within the healthcare system, and we are suffering for that. Specifically, the supply and demand of allied health professionals and the urgent need to invest in community-based care that prioritize vulnerable populations. You know, now the people are in lockdown, the people are in the home, but they are getting diseases. We have to treat, but we have to implement social distancing. We have to reduce the spread of virus. It's totally outrageous and contradictory statements. As we think ahead to post-COVID-19 world, now is a crucial time for healthcare workers and decision makers to start considering what the future of supply and demand in healthcare will look like. Specifically, what are the new skills that the healthcare workforce need to succeed and what resources will be required to serve all populations. As a result of COVID-19, interactions between patients and their clinicians has significantly changed. Social distancing and infection control protocols has led to an accelerated demand for telehealth solutions that is expected to continue well after the pandemic resolves itself. Now is the time for healthcare professionals to become more familiar with virtual, on-demand care through training and education. Physicians and allied health professionals will need to fully embrace virtual training and education to develop new skills that will allow them to connect with patients remotely in a meaningful way. Sophisticated virtual learning modules and the simulations provide healthcare workers with the skills to deliver the same level of patient care virtually as they would in person. That is the future. Virtual training also benefits medical students. Being in a university, I just added this point also. Virtual training also benefits medical students who are making the transition from an educational environment to a clinical settings. Cutting-edge e-learning programs that include real-life scenarios and interactive tutorials can accelerate competence and sharpen decision-making skills required to provide the best possible patient care. As healthcare professionals, we demonstrated a marked resilience and dedication to the work and the patients and service care. Despite the increased risk of infection to themselves and their loved ones, we were always working round the clock for the benefits of the patients. We became our own doctors to develop a range of coping strategies to mitigate the physical and emotional toil that working during a pandemic has taken, such as seeking social support from loved ones, enjoyable or relaxing activities, or new hobbies. Actually, our life has changed a lot. If you're looking back, the things which you enjoyed earlier is different than what you are enjoying now. The activities which you were using earlier was not the same according to the current scenario. Everything is changing. The role colleagues played with regards to social support was an integral part of maintaining well-being for many healthcare professionals. Peer group colleague support was considered as one of the integral part that became strengthened more during this pandemic time. Despite this, however, the impact on healthcare professionals' mental health was apparent, demonstrating increased level of anxiety, hypervigilance, fear, physical exhaustion, and sadness. Some expressed that while they are resilient, they are unsure how long the resilience will last in uncertain times of pandemic. Previous researchers have shown that for healthcare professionals, unforeseen and rapid changes to the working environment can negatively affect those that were previously psychologically resilient. These changes, in turn, increase vulnerability to a variety of poor psychological outcomes such as anxiety disorders, depression, sleep problems, and post-traumatic stress disorders among healthcare professionals. Further, recent studies demonstrated that, in comparison to the general public, healthcare professionals during the lockdown period were significantly more likely to experience higher level of anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorders. Occupational and caregiving challenges experienced by healthcare professionals include issues such as infection concern, redeployment, isolation from family, resource availability, personal protective equipment, PPE, safety, and barriers to patient care. These became additional stressors to combating the disease itself and affecting the healthcare professionals' mental health and well-being. Previous empirical literature examining the impact of pandemics on healthcare professionals, as well as preliminary research, suggests that factors like increased workload, exposure to dirt, difficult medical choices, and barriers to patient care, resource availability, the impact of patient experiences, infection or exposure concerns, exhaustion, isolation from loved ones, and lack of social support were linked to mental ill health among healthcare professionals. We in Hamad, in Qatar, we have done a psychological evaluation of the healthcare professionals, and the result was very devastating. Most of the staffs are having one or two psychological stresses and issues that developed during the pandemic. Regardless of their respective healthcare roles, there was a high degree of confusion due to lack of clear and consistent communication, particularly in the early stages of the outbreak and period of lockdown. Management policies and changes and strict rules and regulations pertaining to the COVID infection exaggerated the situation. Issues concerning PPE, I'll be saying PPE for personal protective equipment, PPE availability and usage, social distancing practices, and the impact of COVID-19 on the daily logistics of the job created feeling of uncertainty, anxiety, and frustration. This is supported by previous pandemic research, finding that lack of clear guidance and support, sufficient communication, and enough resources or equipment to continue to do their work properly is associated with higher degrees of distress among healthcare professionals. Sudden and drastic changes to the working environment, uncertainty about the availability and the safety of PPE, and lack of clear communication and information led some healthcare professionals to feel unvalued and disposable. Healthcare professionals can be medical or non-medical, are an essential workforce required to combat and treat the devastating impacts of this disease that has had on us and all to the population also, as well as combat with the wider complications of long-term effects, medical, psychological, and societal level a pandemic creates. Being a healthcare professional during the time of pandemic is accompanied by personal cost and has the potential to put pressure on one's psychological state. The healthcare system should support the healthcare professionals physically and mentally in order to be resilient and productive, at least at the governmental level or the organizational level, research and intervention level, or a societal level, a social support. At the governmental level, the aim should be to produce clear and consistent guidance to mitigate the risk of both uncertainty and fear. Moreover, to maintain consistency of working environment among multidisciplinary healthcare team. When you are working in a new situation, the lot of healthcare professionals come into action, conflicts, issues, a lot of things will develop that. So we should know that the pathways, the algorithms or checklists and guidelines to move on. Open communication is also needed regarding the availability of all required resources, including PPE. Furthermore, it is essential that governing bodies as well as those in the management positions within the healthcare sectors create opportunities to engage with healthcare professionals with a view to alleviate any fears or concerns where possible. It would also be useful if policy could be implemented that granted the healthcare professionals access to adequate support resources that may address the mental health needs of those frontline workers that have been psychologically impacted by working during the pandemic. Future research should examine not only the prevalence of mental ill health, but also the risk and protective factors of mental health outcomes in healthcare professionals. COVID-19 studies using prospective data may identify risk factors for psychopathology development during this time. Early interventions could consider harnessing adaptive coping strategies such as social support or utilize approaches such as trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, which could be feasibly delivered in a range of flexible formats. Consideration should be given to how the psychological well-being of healthcare professionals will be monitored and supported as the COVID-19 pandemic unfolds. Previous pandemic literature has highlighted symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder or other mental health problems may persist the way beyond the pandemic. Considering the COVID-19 at the social level, individuals have the social responsibility to demonstrate compassion towards the others during these unprecedented times and to follow the COVID-19 guidelines to support the safety of themselves, their loved ones, and those walking on the front line. We still have work to do to manage the spread of the virus until the vaccines are abundant or we are having sufficient herd immunity or there is a cure, I mean a permanent cure. The pandemic has disrupted routines, creating the ideal condition for experimenting and accelerating change. The healthcare industry needs to continue thinking innovatively and preventively so that we are better equipped to manage forthcoming COVID-19 spikes and woes and future global healthcare issues. To show the role of allied health professionals and health investments, I would like to take your attention to a COVID management story of a small yet powerful country, the state of Qatar through a physiotherapist's point of view or a lens. We can see yesterday's data, there is only 92 new cases of COVID-19 in the country of Qatar. And this 70 is actually those who are coming from abroad on quarantine. There was 0 death, and see the all pandemic time, the total death in Qatar was 601. Qatar has witnessed the world's highest per capita coronavirus infection during the first wave, but one of the lowest death rates due to its extensive testing, a young population, and a significant healthcare spending and organization. Why is the death rate is so low? Excuse me. The gas-rich Qatar heavy investment in its healthcare system in recent years, coupled with its young population, because most of the expatriates working there, excuse me, that is the young population, average age is 32 years, helped to keep the death rate among the lowest in the world, and the authorities and the experts are saying this way. Qatar has administered at least going to be 40 lakhs doses of COVID, and the total population is 28 lakhs. That means it is already vaccinated 67% of its total population, and more than 80% of the eligible population, that is the population of the age more than 12 years. So we are developed herd immunity. We have vaccinated more than the 3/4 of the population of Qatar. And in Qatar, or in Hamad Medical Corporation, the Ministry of Health system in Qatar is called Hamad Medical Corporation. We, the physiotherapists, you can see everywhere. We are like, in emergency, you can see us. In critical care, you can see us. In outpatient, you can see us. In a community health setup, you can see us. In a sports center, you can see us. We are everywhere. And acute care concept, we used to say always, bed is bad. We never allow a patient to be in the bed more than 3 hours. So this is the policy the hospital is practicing, the ICUs are practicing, the critical cares are practicing. So we move them a lot, and some of them might be seen this news from Qatar. It says that, like the total percentage of hospital mobility pattern or the documentation is from the critical care. That means we are always there to mobilize the patient. The same thing, early mobilization, we applied on our COVID patient also. When the first wave during the February-March time hit the world and we started getting patients, as like anybody like you, we also started our scary thoughts and all plans and all. We didn't have any idea where to start and how to start. But what we have done is we sat together, analyzes what is the changes and happenings around the world, and develop a best practice recommendation to practice to manage the patients in our acute care or critical care. And that was actually a turning point, so that we could have a clear pathway to start and to progress and to discharge the patients once they are admitted in our critical care. And this study has been published and been downloaded many times across the globe. I think many countries are actually using this reference from this study too. And the study actually says about how to manage the impaired pulmonary function, post-traumatic stress disorder, physical deconditioning, delirium management, ICU acute weakness, or community integration in a nutshell, by integrating everything in the best practice. And there was an algorithm which is the backbone of the guideline, which actually divides the patient into COVID and non-COVID based on the admissions, whether the patient is showing any COVID symptoms, they are tested positive or negative. So the physiotherapy, all team, were divided into COVID and non-COVID team to prevent the cross infections, and the physiotherapy treatment were divided based on the severity of the patient. If the patient is intubated, sedated, if the patient is on ECMO, extracorporeal membrane oxygenator, if the patient is out of ventilator, if the patient is on oxygen therapy, everything will be separately defined and treatment were given hand in hand so that it was very easy for our staff to follow. And it contained many recommendations, mainly recommendations how to manage the respiratory interventions, recommendations on mobilization interventions, recommendation on infection control practices, like that. Okay. Okay, now the most important thing was, because of the sudden surge in number of cases, many field hospitals were rapidly built. We had a sudden increase of the cases, so we need more hospitals. So we set many of the field hospitals. A number of critical care beds were increased, but our manpower was the same. There was a massive shortage of the healthcare professionals across the hospitals, which required careful manpower redistribution. So what we have done, we have introduced a manpower calculation version to redistribute the manpower based on the guideline. So for example, the guideline redistributes the manpower based on the different categories of severities of the patient, so that, let's say that normally if you need 6 physiotherapists for a critical care area, by utilizing the manpower distribution based algorithm, you need 4.5 only. That means I can give my 1.5 therapists to another facility. So all such facilities, they are having critical patients were re-employed with the physiotherapist by calculating such numbers. And in the beginning phase, of course, the outpatient physiotherapy was totally shut down, so that we have enough physiotherapists that we have trained day and night, because the outpatient physiotherapists were never known about the critical care management, all sort of things. But it was high time that we have to convert them into and critical care physiotherapists. So we have done what called day and night training for the staffs, because of the spatial issues and infection issues. We cannot call all the therapists for the training. So it was like semesters, it was like segments. One finishes, another starts, day and night. Within 1 week, we have trained almost all the outpatient therapists into effective acute care physiotherapists, with the confidence and assurance given from the management side. And of course, we have developed algorithm for inpatient, outpatient. This is the algorithm for post-COVID rehabilitation. And this is the algorithm for outpatient screening. When the patient comes in outpatient, how to do that one, whether to take the patient to positive testing area, whether the patient has to be treated, whether the patient has to be transferred for the virtual rehabilitation scenario. So we made all the algorithms and guidelines during the first 3 months of the pandemic crisis. That actually helped us a lot to sustain and improve our quality. Then what we started is, actually, when initially the patients in the ICUs were ventilated, were on CPAP, were many of them paralyzed. So the suffering of the ICU admitted patients was beyond the words during the initial phase. Many of them developed ICU-acquired myopathies and weakness. Weakness was severe that many patients could not even move out of bed. Weakness was due to immobility and due to certain medication used to treat COVID-19. Here, physiotherapists played a vital role in reducing the length of stay in the ICU and in the hospital, even in the mortality rate. Again, what we used to say that we move them a lot. We never allows them to be in the bed, even the patient is critically ill. So you can see the cycling in the bed, or we used to tilt them often. And you can see 89% of the patients in the critical care or acute care were seen 2 times a day, even with the shortage of the manpower. So we always keep them out of bed, even in ICU or even in the ward. We used to say bed is bad. We used to make them participate in exercise whenever there is a possible, with oxygen, without oxygen, with ventilator. Okay, so it was like a task force work. All the staffs, even though they are scared, they are unsecure about whether they will get or not, it was something like, come on, let us do, come on, let us do feeling. And all started doing in a very massive way, in a very elaborative way. And even critically ill patients, those patients, we never allowed them back on the bed. We mobilized them, we tilted them, we have given assurance and many things. And we got a lot of comments and appreciations for our activity. And of course, this is the simplest thing that we do, weight training. And being Qatar, we are having a lot of ECMO devices which saved many of the lives. ECMO is extracorporeal membrane oxygenator. When the lungs or heart is totally failed, this device actually helps them to survive their life. But the rehabilitation in the ECMO is really difficult, but we have specialized people who is able to do that one tremendously. So even the patient is in ECMO, normally they will be ventilated, sedated and paralyzed. We go, we reduce the sedation, we put some, like a them fresh, then talk to them, we make them stand, we do a lot of exercise in their tolerable level so that they won't feel. Don't you believe in ICU, when the patient comes, 1.3 out of 6 in functional ambulation category means non-ambulatory. Within ICU days, most of them are walking under supervision. 3.8 to 4 means supervision under in functional ambulation category. So we mobilize the patient. Through the mobilization, we mobilized the chest also. Actually, we were not intense chest manipulators, but our early mobilization skills were too good so that the chest was also actually participated. But of course, we are having respiratory protocols for the chest care. We started short-term rehabilitation, and where the physiotherapy patients with some what is called post-COVID complications, but no need of hospital admissions, were seen in a daily basis. These are mainly the muscle weakness. Somebody have nerve injuries. Some interesting case of dorsiflexion weakness were there. Somebody developed a stroke. So many cases were there. And we had dedicated space given in the rehabilitation hospital, post-COVID rehabilitation for active patients. We put them in those patients having a good potential. We admitted in the active rehabilitation hospital, given exercise so that they will be discharged, walking normally, walking independently, doing their activities of daily livings in a normal way possible. Even we have introduced new mask for hydrotherapy, which helps to reduce infections. Actually, the studies are saying that there is no study saying that there is through water the coronavirus spreads, but we have bought this new mask and we started the hydrotherapy, even though initially it was closed up. And the social security system and the social support system, we made it so strong that there are regular visits. Patient never feels they're alone. The ministry people, the management people always used to come and visit, and it was something like a group effort. It was something like a teamwork. And those patients who are totally debilitated post-COVID, we transferred them to the long-term rehabilitation service with very high sophisticated facilities like ergos, other type of robotic devices, which makes them do with their power as much as possible. And once they are getting more into their control or improvement, they were transferred to the active rehabilitation facilities. So for us, we never have a fear about the ventilator. We never had a fear about the COVID. Our COVID barriers were so elegantly worked round the clock that we believe that our work has actually helped many of the patients to walk out from the hospital independently. We have even started many hospitals where the outpatient facilities started working slowly to convert into post-COVID rehabilitation centers. And our home care facilities, they worked tirelessly going to the homes and treating them with the PPEs and all the facilities. So these are the acute care things we have done. We have done very good things. We have done a lot of things. Meanwhile, our outpatient department has done a lot of things. Outpatient facility has undergone a remarkable transformation to deliver the best and safe care for those all in need. We became the pioneer of high technology, virtual rehabilitation and home exercise program delivery, and our system was resilient enough to support all the patients. There was a huge appreciation for our virtual rehabilitation concept and made us proud and safe. What we have done actually is nobody was believing that you can give exercise, you can teach exercise, you can train exercise through the virtual rehabilitation. But our team's tireless effort has made round-the-clock training for our other staffs, and they started connecting, calling the patients and teaching them, training them, exercise, pain managements, and all sort of things. And it was a big steps so that many of the Qatar medias started putting news and publishing and appreciating our efforts on virtual rehabilitation. So virtual consultation was, everybody was knowing, but virtual rehabilitation was a new things for the managements of Qatar ministry. Again, we had an issue. When we are teaching the patient with the exercise, they forget because we are teaching through the virtual media. So there is no reference for them to do the exercise, and we don't have any system to give a set of exercise. Let's say that 5 days you have to do this much number. Then we have taken a painful journey. Around 75 physiotherapists day and night sat together and developed a physiotherapy home exercise portal with 700 videos of exercises done, recorded, acted, modified, edited entirely by the physiotherapists. I think I am having a video. If we are lucky, it will work. So this is the physiotherapy online exercise portal, how it is. Physiotherapist assigns new programs for the patient, sending final program after customizing to the patient. The patient notified through an email. Clicking on the email, you'll get an access to the program, customized program. Patient view his assigned exercise program. It's showing how to do the exercise, and you can watch through that portal. Patient follows the video to do the prescribed exercise. Patient continues to view all other assigned exercises. Day by day, we can put the exercise for the daily basis. Patient updates completion of the exercise. Once they have done, it will show us completed. It will come back to the physiotherapist, so the physiotherapist knows that the patient completed the exercise. So it was huge, like the virtual consultation, like the acute care, early mobilization. The home exercise portal was another great achievement that our brave physiotherapists have undertaken. And it has grown in such a ways from face-to-face handouts, education follow-ups. Our life has changed into face-to-face virtual rehabilitation, home exercise program, video modeling, follow-up, long-term management using VC or tele-rehabilitation, things like that. And it was huge effort for us to educate not only the physiotherapists, but our colleagues like our nurses, even physicians, and other occupational therapists and other healthcare professionals, how we do the things and how much we need support from them. And it was it was more multidisciplinary type of activity rather than a physiotherapy. But of course, we were leading the mobilization, and it made a huge change, so that there are the raining of appreciations, awards, and all sort of things as which made our team so motivated and encouraged to do more and more, which makes our team more strengthened and still working on their quality and all sort of things. Okay, so what which faced the challenges was a surge in acute care admissions, staff redeployment, staff competency, social distancing, stress, staff infection. But we came across all the odds systematically and successfully with a lot of remarkable achievements and contributions of international standards. Uncertainty, fear of family well-being, sleep cycle and pattern affected in most, psychological issues, many sad, irritable, angry, feeling caged down. And we overcome all this, our staff's challenges, by means of giving motivation, professionalism, flexibility, and dedication in supporting each other and timely administrative supports. But we have learned leadership has a great influence. Safety is always the priority. Fear and stigma is real, don't say that it is not there. It is real. Everyone gets tired and worn out. Scientific approach and teamwork always wins. That is only solution what we have. And our life has come across, and we have developed a lot of technological advancement during these things. For example, we have developed something called we have the first one conducted the patient satisfaction survey for the COVID patients by using a barcode that the patient can use their mobiles to scan. One of the comment which was so heart touching, I am quoting here. So the patient has written like that: the physiotherapist's active intervention helped to reduce the length of hospital stay and mortality. I'll show you the comment actually. I just missed the comment. Yeah. We have used the barcode scanning system where all the ID card will be having a barcode. If the patient scans it, it will open up the patient satisfaction survey. One of the patient satisfaction survey was, one of the patient was writing, your presence was the only reminder that I am alive and there is life. This was so touchy because, like in COVID area, it will be totally isolated area. Nobody will come unless it is absolutely necessary. Sometimes the nurse will come and give the medication and go. The patient will be left alone. So we are the one, we used to talk. We used to make them sit. We used to make them a few steps of walk. And we talk some course also, so that, like they used to wait for us. They used to wait for our staffs. So this was so touching a comment taken from one of the patient satisfaction survey. And we have developed our online patient handover system, so that without paper, the patient can be handover from different facilities and can be handover for Friday, Saturday. And during the pandemic, we also conducted first ever hybrid conference in Qatar. Hybrid conference means there will be some percentage of people will be attending physically, and majority of the persons will be attending online. So we were having that ownership also, conducted that first hybrid course. Let me see the previous slide. Yeah. So standing by the patient while being apart was our main motto during that time. And we used to say always that one: we are with you, but we will stand a bit apart. So these are our achievements, the things we have done. There are a lot of news appreciations for our works. Things went in good way, and we could able to manage things well. And what we have to think about, will our day today ever be the same post-COVID? Or I don't know whether the COVID will finish, so we say post-COVID next year? I don't know. COVID-19 will likely have permanent effects on the way we work. But the way we live, socialize, and move out, the world will be different too. The picture is very symbolic. In a healthcare point of view, we need to be creative and resilient enough to withstand the odds, and we have to move on. Post-pandemic, world will be different, because it will give you new ways of learning. Of course, the books will be for sitting. You will be more virtual. Balance work and life, because you'll be working 24 hours. It's not like 8 hours, because you'll be working virtually. Maybe you'll be working sometimes, so it's different. So the psychological mental well-being will be affected more, so you should have a balance of work and life. There'll be more leads technological ways, maybe contactless cash, virtual money investment, virtual purchase, goes like that. Amazon, or such things will be booming. Corona is for them, to be honest. And we have seen in the Qatar during the COVID time a lot of cycles on the road. People want to get out, want to stay out, because the studies have shown that those who are physically active, there are less chances of COVID infection. Even there is infection, there is faster recovery and less problem. So people start to move out. It was a good thing happened. Then the remote possibilities means most of them will come to internet. That means you will be treating your patients through virtual. You will be doing your duties through virtual. So all things are going like that. And of course, the healthcare become virtual, the rehabilitations become virtual, the surgery becomes non-human types or not untouched. Like some of the products it is like untouched by human eyes, so untouched by human hands. So surgeries maybe become like that. World will be so dynamic. You may need more survival skills and lifelong learning to be in the run. Dedicating this presentation for all the COVID warriors across the globe, those who are succumbed to death, those who are having permanent disabilities, those who are still surviving, their families, their societies, and the system, because it is one of the toughest management and effect and the phase we have come across in our life. Never been such a thing. I don't think that any of our senior citizens also never been such a situation. So we have learned a lot from the system, which from the untoward or unwanted situation, unfavorable situation, and it is what is called a life. Life is a learning, changing, move on, and we have to move on. Thank you for your very valuable time. Sorry for taking a 45 minutes. Actually, I was telling to Dr. Abhijit that I may not able to take a longer time because of the time constraints. But yesterday night, I was doing some works and editing, and it became like that. I thought showing some of the photos and works we have done in Qatar may have some significant contributions on your learnings. And since you are more academic side, can develop something that can be used for Indian communities and our populations, our society, so that there'll be some benefit. Thank you for the call and thank you for the valuable time.
Thank you, sir, for your very, very informative talk. You have very well addressed the real life picture, not only of the general population, but of course, the healthcare professionals, the frontline workers, who are actually there dealing with this pandemic situation and trying to save the population, general population. You have also described about how they feel and how they face the different difficult circumstances and situations worldwide during this COVID-19 pandemic. And very rightfully, I should say that you have also shown us different possible ways of tackling the new challenges that are coming, that has come up during this pandemic situation, with the use of technology. And of course, I will definitely comment on the teamwork that you people have shown out there. There is a lot of things that we have to take from your speech today. And I am sure that although the delegates today who are present over here are from different fields of the medical science, have enlightened themselves, have got enlightened themselves after listening to your talk today. I feel that this talk of yours will definitely help us to tackle up the future situations in the pandemic scenario, since I personally feel that the pandemic is here to stay for at least few more months, or I should say hopefully it should stay for few more months only. But definitely your talk will help us in tackling up in the future. So with these words, I thank you, sir, for your valuable
Thank you very
speech.
much. I'm
Thank
having
you.
a time reference, but I would like to see since there is a YouTube link, I would like to listen to further things and all. And meanwhile, if you would like to find out any further resources and help from our side, from Qatar, being an administrative person here, we have learned a lot that we can even share to you for the developments, and we are always helping. I'm always in touch with Dr. Abhijit also.
Right,
Thank
sir.
you for the time, and I'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. With this, we come to an end of our first session, delegates, and we will be meeting again at 1 p.m. today in the afternoon for our second lecture, which will be given by Dr. Vijay Pratap Singh on evidence-based physiotherapy in COVID care. Thank you. Stay healthy and stay safe. Thank you, one and all.